name's Trevor Joseph, you're watching Rolling Slow Media, and this is John's 996 Aero kit. John,
Great to meet you.
Thank you very much for coming on the channel and bringing this lovely GT3 inspired Carrera S, is it?
It's a Carrera, so 996 Carrera C2, if you like.
Right.
And I love it, Trevor. And I think I can't wait for you to get in the car and take it for a drive and get your thoughts. I've not had it that long. So
how long have you had it?
About 3 or 4 months. It's my second Porsche.
Yeah.
I drove one of these about 10, 15 years ago, and I always loved them. But I'm one of those guys that didn't like the look of them.
Yeah.
The
fried egg light.
The fried egg lights. I always thought it was old-fashioned, this car, and it looked a bit out of shape.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's grown on me. And I bought an impromptu buy of a C4S about a year ago, and that got me back into Porsche and the driving thing. And then I slowly got into these Aero kit Carreras, base Carreras. And I think if you're a driver, which is a bit of a cliche, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're going to love these cars. They've got a really good amount of power. They're all mechanical, so there's very little electronic, interference between you and whatever you're controlling. So there's no electronic steering rack.
You're quite analog.
Very analog, very mechanical, quite light, very small and compact.
Yeah.
They move around, they shuffle around on the road, they rattle.
Yeah.
They have all sorts of niggles because they're old. But
exactly. It's that old school feel, and it's a bit like vinyl.
It is like
vinyl compared to CDs or MP3s.
Yeah.
Well, no one uses MP3s now, but yeah, that vinyl's got that nice organic crackly feel, and it's the same with the 996s.
Yeah, that is a good way to describe it, Trevor. I think a vinyl kind of classic.
Yeah. What I've noticed happening with the 996s is they are becoming to be popular again, and there is a bit of a cult following to them, just like how people are getting back into vinyl and buying records now.
Yeah.
Like, I think people are starting to fall back in love with the 996s. They did have this stigma of the fried egg light look and going from air cooled to water cooled, but now I'm starting to see people are showing real love for these cars.
Yeah, I think there was a period of time where the 996 was definitely, may still be, the least desirable Porsche for some people. Like you say, you had all the water cooled ones. All the air-cooled ones, all the way up to the 993 that rocketed up in price and have a lot of character, and you'll always have a big market for those. And then you've got all the water-cooled generations, the more modern cars, starting with the 996, the 997, the 991, the 992. And I think the 991 and the 992 are for people that want all that performance, want all the modern luxuries. They look amazing, great cars. They cost a lot of money. I think the 996 is for guys that want that Porsche experience, but they want it maybe on a budget, because this is a very affordable car.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, you can pick these up for 15, starting at £15,000 maybe, up to 25 for really good ones.
Your entry-level 911s, isn't it? It's crazy how the market is like, you have 930s and 964s, fetching the same prices as 991s and 992s, and then as you get sort of 996, 997, the prices start to come down. You get into that valley of affordable Porsche, and the 996s are definitely at that bottom, but they're starting to rise.
They're right at the bottom of the valley.
They're starting to rise. Yeah, they are. And I think, because yours is the Aero kit version, these are the most desirable 996s, aren't they?
You don't pay a premium for them, because really, even your normal 996 base Carrera without the Aero kit, you know, you're going to struggle to get one of those for less than £10,000.
Yeah.
So you probably pay about £3,000 or £4,000 extra for an Aero kitted car. Maybe we're going to see that increase over the next few years because they are becoming a little bit desirable. But they're incredibly cheap.
Yeah.
And like I was saying to you earlier, you could buy one of these, you could run it for a while. You might crash, you might blow the engine up, but if you do, you can get another one.
Yeah.
They're not expensive.
I was gonna say, actually, because that kind of leads on to the next thing. Like, I know the 997s suffer from bore score.
Yeah.
And eventually, every 997 will probably get this engine issue. Is it the same with the 996s? Because they're kind of they're the same platform, aren't they? Like,
yeah, I mean, this is the M92 engine, but the early cable throttle cars, this is, you know, Dan's Timeless Classic, he's the expert on these.
Yeah,
he tells
we'll have
me,
him on the channel soon.
Yeah, you got that's a big experience.
Yeah.
He tells me that the early cable throttle Gen 1 cars, the M92 engine, I think that's the designator, is rock solid. This has done 122,000 miles. It's never had a rebuild.
Yeah.
It's not losing oil. It's not blowing smoke.
Yeah.
And I've probably just cursed it now. And we'll go on a test drive.
Touch wood, quick.
With this engine, all I do is I keep it topped up.
Yeah.
I'll keep it serviced regularly. I'll keep an eye on it. But I will make sure it warms up before I drive it hard. Yeah. And that is it. And I think, touch wood, it'll be good. And when you drive it, I want you to really give it some, so that you can. You'd never want to buy a car where you're scared of the engine. Like, I don't want to go redline this. I drive this, once it's warmed up, I redline it, and I just redline it everywhere. And if it, like I say, if it blows up, I'll get another one.
I wish we could all afford to say that.
It's cheap, isn't it? That's the thing, though.
Yeah, it's cheap, but it's still quite an expensive build to, you know, have an engine
I mean,
rebuild.
don't get me wrong.
And engine rebuilds aren't something that people do every day.
No, it wouldn't be ideal if I blew the engine up. But if you did, the Aero kit on the cars are worth a certain amount. And you could sell this for like 7,000, 8,000 as a breaker.
True.
And then go and buy another one for 15,000. And that, so I've spent 8,000, but you know, if you drive a modern car, I was chatting to some of the other guys, it can cost me like £8,000 to renew the discs on my M4, the ceramic discs. So I love the idea of cars being affordable. I love the idea of you not being precious about them and just drive the hell out of them. That's what it's all about.
So in the time that you've had this, because this car is a bit far away from stock, right? Have you done any mods, or did you get it with these lovely Recaros and that Momo steering wheel, which I think looks amazing? But then I guess there's no airbag now.
No.
But I don't know, like if you're gonna crash, I'd love to hit my head on a Momo. And I shouldn't say that, but so this still is really nice. Like,
it's heavily modified, so it's running Olim suspension coilovers, which are great. The interior seats have been modified with the Recaro pole positions, which are terrible for guys of my age and my size.
No, I didn't say but they are quite difficult to get in and out.
I think you'll be all right. You'll be okay. I mean, you're tall, but you'll be. I think these will be okay. But they will give you back trouble long term, I think.
I had a Volkswagen Corrado and I put these seats in. And after maybe an hour of driving it, I couldn't stand them. Literally, like they're not meant for cruising around town.
No, they're not. They've got to go. I'm gonna. That's next on my hit list. All I had to do really was go back and just finish up little jobs that were done poorly and tidy the car up and get it to where I wanted it. And I'm nearly there with that now, apart from the seats. After that, I've then just got to do a few mechanical jobs on the outside, some brake line corrosion.
Will you do that yourself?
I'm going to do the brake lines. There's just a little bit of surface corrosion on the brake lines, so I'm just going to sand those down, treat them, cover them. There's a tiny coolant leak I noticed the other day, which I'm going to try and do myself. There's a slight, tiny RMS oil leak, which is very common, but it's not even a drip. It's like nothing because it's not losing oil. But they very commonly leak there, and I wouldn't get that done unless it's pouring out oil. So that will be fine. The only other thing is I want to get a full geo. I want to get the suspension checked. Just to tighten up. I noticed the anti-roll bar link bushes are all perished, so get those done. Apart from that, it should be absolutely fine.
Enough about the car. I just want to ask you about you, because you have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
And you have a big following on Instagram. So what is it that you do? Well, I know what you do, but for the people who are watching who don't know you, tell us a little bit about what you do.
So yeah, I am a full-time YouTuber as well. So I have a channel, forensics detailing channel, available for funerals, weddings.
I'll put a link.
And yes, I'm a full-time YouTuber as well, and I love it. And it's all about polishing the cars, cleaning the cars.
Yeah.
You know, get the product side of what you should use is a big thing about what I do.
Yeah.
But primarily, I'm a driver. I like driving them, and detailing them shouldn't be an unhealthy obsession.
Yeah.
It should just bolt onto the side of your love of cars.
Yeah.
And it should just make owning the car better, and you should love detailing them as well. But don't take detailing too seriously. This car, you get this under a spotlight in a studio, and it's covered in swirls.
Yeah.
It's got dents in it, it's got chips in it, it's got bits of bad paint. It doesn't bother me one bit.
Is detailing one of those little rabbit holes where it's like as soon as you start, you just get deeper and deeper into it. You just go further in, you know.
You can, if you've got that detailing thing. If you and I bought a brand new car, you know, you got a GT3, I got a Cayman GT4, and they were both immaculate. If we were really into detailing, we might not want to drive these cars because they're perfect. And you spoil them almost in your mind when you drive them, and you get chips in the glass, you get chips in the front bumper, you scratch them, you wear things out.
You want it to stay perfect, but
and they're so precious, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
And that is another reason why an old 996 is great, because you lose that mentality and just make it the best you can and focus on the drive and enjoying the drive rather than the whole perfection thing, or else you can spoil it in your own mind a little bit, I think.
Well, yeah, thanks for those tips. I think we should
take it for a drive.
Yes, I think we should. All right, let's do it.
Let's go. Brilliant.
Race car vibes straight off. That short shift again, and the feel of the gear stick. Yeah, that is nice.
What do you think of the suspension?
It's stiff, but it's not like spine crushing.
Yeah, it's not too crashing, but it is stiff. It's a good suspension. It's got the stock anti-roll bars or sway bars in it, so it's not 100% flat like the newer models are really flat. Especially the GT3, really flat, which is lovely for circuits. There's a bit of body roll on this, which some people might want to tighten that up. But the brakes are okay. I don't think they'll take. The brakes are fine for road driving. In fact, they've got a nice feel to them. But I don't think they'd probably handle track abuse. But I'll find out.
Wow! You know what? As it accelerates, it comes alive. And suddenly gets louder and louder, and it's sort of more roary inside, isn't it?
What I like is you've got to really drive it hard to enjoy it. So you can absolutely just brash the hell out of this car, and you're not going at silly speeds, or the car's not having to interfere like a modern car will cut in, and like we were talking about with the M4. It'd be cutting in all the time as you're trying to accelerate because it's going too quick. Whereas this is just all mechanical. Some of these actually come with no traction control, which you think is kind of crazy, isn't it? This has the traction control, but one button and it's off, and you can't really notice it too much.
But I know with my car, I can sort of siphon the suspension up and louden the exhaust. Do you have that in the Pazza?
No, none of that, unfortunately. I had that in the C4S. Yeah, the passive adaptive suspension. That didn't have that, but it had the adaptive sports exhaust. So that was quite a nice touch.
It does feel, you know what, I like the suspension on this. Compared to mine, which is it just knocks your feelings out. This is nice, and also because your seats are a bit firmer, I can really tell that the suspension is softer, where my seats are softer, But the what's that chicken shit? my seats are softer, but the suspension's a lot firmer. You know?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Can you adjust yours though? You've got
The suspension.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even on the soft settings, it's quite hard. I mean, I don't have like top adjustables on
right.
it, but just through the PASM I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's interesting, isn't it? Because you're coming from a 997.
Yeah.
So it's interesting when you what you're going to this car from. So if you're coming to it from a later Porsche, you know, a more recent Porsche, there's certain things I don't think will be as good.
Yeah.
I don't think like the torque won't, you know, the acceleration won't be what you're quite used to. Maybe down a little bit. I think you'll look at the dash and think it's a bit old-fashioned. You know, it's a bit archy, isn't it?
It does feel older, but it doesn't feel out of date. Like it doesn't feel like
a bit retro, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you could probably get a nice, you know, like touch screen here if you wanted to, but
they do them. Like, they do. It had a touch screen in it, but I've done the center console delete because it's a long story. But you're right, you can get a double DIN unit for them, and there's some good ones actually. What do you think about the brakes? Feel okay?
Stops.
Yeah, it's got decent discs on it, pads. They're all stock, I think.
If you were on track with this, how many laps do you reckon you could get out of it before you started to get brake fade?
Well, it depends on the circuit. Like Bedford, you could probably make them fade after 2 laps, maybe. I'm just guessing though. I don't know. Stock pads on any car will struggle with track. So I think I'll probably, if I am going to track this, and I may well do, in fact it's highly likely, then I think the first upgrade I'll do after just trying them is probably brakes. And other than that, I'll just keep changing the engine oil regularly and the brake fluid regularly, and see, because I'm not sure. You know, it's an old girl, isn't it, Trevor? It's like it's a 26-year-old car with 120,000 miles on it.
With these mods, it doesn't feel like that.
No,
everything feels really tightly, solidly kept together.
That's what I felt when I got it as well. It didn't feel like an old car. It felt like, and it has had some money spent on it, which is great. But there's just a few little maintenance jobs that I think you'll always get that need to be done. And I think you need to keep an eye on these cars. Like once a year at least, you need it up on a ramp. You need a good eyeball underneath. You need to go through all the suspension stuff and just make sure none of it's perished. Make sure the brake lines are good because they do rot.
Do you garage this?
It will be garaged, yeah. At the moment, it sort of shares the garage with my M4, and I think the M4 is going to go.
So, comparing this to the M4, I mean, the M4 is a lot newer, it's more power. But in terms of fun factor, how would you?
Like if you owned them both, and I said I'm only giving you the keys to one to drive for the next week or to take to the Alps, I can guarantee after you've driven both for a while, Trevor, you'll want to take this. It's more engaging, which I know is a cliche word. It's a cliche, but it's so true because I think modern cars are great in lots of ways. They're faster, they're safer, they've got more tech, they're smoother, they look nice, they're amazing. But it's the interface between you and all of the things that you notice, like.
But you know, I think also with modern cars, they can disguise the speed.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
You know, you could be in something like this Maserati SUV and be doing 100 and feel like you're doing 45. Where this, you could be doing 30 and it feels like you're doing 50. You know, because you can feel everything. You're way more connected, where you're a little bit disconnected from the road as you would be.
That's a good way of putting it, isn't it? Because it's not how fast you're going; it's just a number. It's the experience of getting there, isn't it? And you get there so quick in a modern car, you don't get to enjoy it as much. And the car has to interfere with that experience to keep it safe.
I wouldn't, if I was, wanted a daily drive to, go shopping and drop the kids to school, I wouldn't want that feeling every time I got in a car. But yeah, if I was out with my mates, I was at a coffee run. You want that feeling. You want to be as connected to the road as possible. And you want to feel like a roller coaster, isn't it?
Well, some guys have two. Danny's got two. He's got a stock one for what you just described, the daily thing, and then a heavily modified one for that. And I sort of get it now. That's nice. Another Porsche. Yeah, so maybe the answer is get two cars. I think you've got a good setup there, because you've got your Porsche, which sounds like it's quite hardcore with the suspension and all the mods, and you've got your Golf R, which is DSG. You get in it, start it up, drive it.
The Golf definitely. I found the limit of how much enjoyment I can get at low speed with the Golf, and then the Porsche takes over. So at the same speed, I'm grinning even more with the Porsche, you know.
You've got a combo there, though.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for this opportunity. Honestly, mate, I love it. Right, guys, we're going to end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. And if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And what is your YouTube channel?
Forensics Detailing.
Forensic Detailing. Follow John on Forensic Detailing. Follow me on Rolling Slow Media. And if you got a car you want featured, just give us a shout. You know, I'm up for this stuff now, and I'm really enjoying the little test drive. So, yeah, I'll be happy to... take you for a drive in your own car. But yeah, thanks again, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Trevor Joseph out. You've been watching Rolling Slow Media. Peace.